everyone, and welcome to the Den. Today we're going to be doing a video that's going to go on my playlist of how to use what you can, and we're using Great Northern beans today. So this is going to be a green chili chicken. Yes, I have canned that. I keep that on this shelf, but for me to feed all 8 of us, I would have to use like 4 quarts of it at least. So I like to make this fresh, and I keep my green chili chicken or white chili, whatever you want to call it. I keep it on the shelf for things like lunch, or if there's only a couple of us here, whatever it may be, because when you pop open that quart of your green chili chicken, it is a quart ready to go, ready to eat. So we're going to use these beans today, and we're going to make this recipe. So if you want to see how I do it, it's super easy. I'll give you tips and tricks on how to make this even easier. So you can do a lot with this, and it's really good. So on a cold night, this is the way to go. Soups and things like that are things that my family just loves. So I'm going to show you how to do this, so stick around and let's get to it. Okay, so what we're going to start with here is, well, first of all, I have my onion going in my pan over there. If you can hear the sizzling, it's kind of, I'm going to take care of that. But I have 3 cans of Great Northern beans, and I'm going to do the same thing that I always do, what I always say. When you go to open these up, tap, hear the sound, make sure that you see the rush of air come into the can, the rush of air come into the can. You'll see the liquid line kind of move around. And you hear the sound, you give it a smell. You're going to do that with all your jars, and if everything goes good with that, you're going to put them in your pot. Now, I'm doing this in the slow cooker because I'm going to let it go all day. I have other things I have to get done today. You can, by all means, cook this within, I don't know, an hour's time or so, if you have pre-cooked chicken. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to get the rest of these open. I'm going to stick them in my crock pot. Alright, so you can see here now I have the beans and the onion. I'm going to give it a stir. I'm going to add some broth, some chicken stock to this. I'm just going to take my jars and fill one with water fully, and we're going to dump that in there. And I'm going to take my other jars, and I'm going to see how it goes. But I'm going to run the water around the jars to get the stuff out of it, and I'm just going to use it in there so I'm not wasting any of this leftover stuff or any of the leftover beans. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so far I've put in 2 pints of water, and I added 2 tablespoons of bouillon. And I'm going to let this just heat up and do its thing. I'm going to add some garlic in here too, as well as some oregano. So let me grab those 2 things, but that's kind of what it's looking like right now. And this will all dissolve as this crock pot gets hotter. But let me grab my other ingredient. Okay, so I've added about a teaspoon and a half of oregano and at least a tablespoon or more of garlic. Use whatever amounts you want to taste. I like garlic. Some people have a hard time with digestion of garlic, but use what you want in here and make it your own. I haven't added any salt to this because the bouillon is salty, and also the chicken that I'm going to be using today, let me show you this. This is leftover from last night, and it has a bunch of seasoning on it, and I'm actually just going to dump these right in. Now, if you're going to be using, you can use a rotisserie chicken and pull it apart. You could do it like that. You could do raw chicken, frozen chicken. You could start with your frozen chicken. You would have to, cook that pretty good. You'd have to give it a good amount of time. If you're going to use a slow cooker and you're going to start with frozen chicken, definitely give yourself at least 6 to 8 hours. My slow cooker, it's an Instant Pot. I use it on the slow cooker setting, and it seems to takes a longer time to cook than my just regular slow cooker. But anyways, this is how I'm going to do this for now. I'm gonna leave this in here. Oh, I need to get the green chilies. That's the one thing I have not put in here yet. I have to go downstairs to get them. So let me grab the green chilies. You can also use enchilada sauce in this if you want to. And I'll probably use maybe a combination of both. But you definitely want to get your green chilies in there. All right, so for this, I have the 7-ounce can of green chilies. I'm just gonna pour those on in there. I also brought up my enchilada sauce. Let me show you that. Now, typically I will throw some of this in here, but this is the large can, and I would not put this whole can in there. So, because I'm not gonna use the whole can, I am not going to put this in there. If I run by the store today, if I have time to run in, I do need to get milk. I might pick up a smaller can because, you know, they have the just like soup size cans of these. Maybe I will pick up one of those. But for now, I'm going to not put this in there. If you have a small can, you could throw that in there too. Be careful with this though, because it can add a lot of like a salty flavor. So for now, I'm gonna leave it like this. And what we have in this pot now is our 3 pints of beans. I had about, what I threw in there was chicken thighs. What was there, 7 or 8 in there? 7 or 8 boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And 2 small red onions, the oregano, the garlic, and the 2 pints of broth. So we're gonna let this do its thing for a while. It smells good already, so I'm not thinking I'm gonna need much more. But when we go to, when this all is all heated through, it'll take a couple hours, but when it's all heated through, I'll give it a taste and make sure it's tasting really good. But you're also going to be adding flavor later on with sour cream and cheese, so mind for that. And you can eat this with tortilla chips. I'm making some bread, some homemade bread, and we're going to just let this cook. It's super easy when you can throw things into the crock pot, at least in my opinion. I have a mess to clean up right now from the things that, you know, the jars and things like that. And of course my dishwasher is clean, so that's always a pain in the butt when you gotta clean that out. But for now, we are good. I'm gonna let this do its thing. And I have a bunch of other things to do right now, so this is perfect for tonight. I should have got this on earlier, but everything was already cooked. The chicken was already cooked, so basically I'm just looking to heat this through. So for now, it's good. Bread is in the bread maker. It'll be done around the same time as this, and we'll be ready to eat tonight. So that is, you know, this is a good recipe for how to use some of the things that you've canned. And you could, if you did not have the chicken thighs and you needed to put a meal together and you had some canned chicken and these beans, some bouillon, and you could even use dried onion, dried garlic, and a can of green chilies, and you'd be just fine. You don't have to have fancy ingredients to put something together. If you're in a situation where you need to throw these things over the campfire, this is a perfect recipe for that too. If you're going camping or you're trying to test out your skills outside, 100% you could throw this together and you could feed a lot of people with these simple recipes. So we're a family of 8. So anyways, I don't want to drag on for too long here, but this is something that we eat a lot. Sometimes my stomach does not like the beans, but this soup is so good. So I hope every time that I eat this, that doesn't make my stomach hurt, but sometimes it does. But anyways, I'm gonna put the lid on this and I'm gonna let it cook, and I'll finish the things I need to do here at home. So when this has cooked a little while, I'll come back. Okay, so one of the things that I forgot to mention here is we are going to be adding in some fresh cilantro. This is 1 bunch of cilantro that I just kind of coarsely chopped. You don't have to add this if you don't like it, but we really like fresh cilantro. And I'm gonna leave a little bit here on the cutting board or whatever these things are, so that we can use it as garnish too. My husband loves cilantro, so I could actually probably put 2 bunches in here, but I'm not gonna do that. So just gonna do 1 for now. So I'm gonna add that in there. And like I said, if you don't like cilantro, don't worry about it. Don't add it in there. It does give it quite a fresh taste, and we appreciate that. I like that. I like to have that cilantro there, but again, you don't have to. And then we're just gonna add in some cheese. I'm just gonna do like a handful. And again, you don't have to if you don't want to. You can put this on when you serve. So now I'm going to give that a stir. And pretty much that's it. I'm gonna leave that chicken, those chicken thighs that were kind of whole, they were whole. I'm gonna leave them like they are. You could pull them out if you did like this and you had used leftover breasts or like whole breasts or whatever, whole thighs, a whole chicken that, you know, you could start with a whole chicken on this too and boil it and get that cooked down. But starting with already made chicken is going to be a super big time saver. And it just makes this, like I said in the beginning, in the intro of this video, it is one way to make this super, super easy. Or you can use your canned chicken. But you can leave it big chunks, or you can take it out and shred it up, whatever you choose to do. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to leave them, I think I'm going to leave them whole, unless, I don't know, we'll see. But if you do take them apart, they will kind of soak up some of that flavor too. So it is good to shred them up, but sometimes I just don't have time for that. So we will see. I do have a few minutes here, so I might shred them. So shred if you want, shred if you, or don't. So you see my pretty flowers here. My daughter's got me that for Valentine's Day. So yeah, I have good kids. But anyways, we're gonna add some sour cream when we dish these out. You could put some sour cream in there now too and stir it around. It'll make it a bit creamier. Too, if like your green chilies are hot and you're like, oh, that's kind of spicy, you could add some sour cream in there. It will cut down on the heat a little bit. But we're just gonna serve this up with the fresh bread I made. You can 100% use pita or tortilla chips, whatever you'd like. But this is pretty much done. It has been cooking now for about 4 hours, and because everything was already pre-cooked, it really was just heating and mixing and marrying all those flavors together, and I tasted it and it's awesome. So we're gonna be eating here soon, so as soon as I dish one out, I will show you what that looks like. All right, so this is all ready to go. I did give my chicken a bit of a chop. I'm gonna make this bowl for my son. Here's what that soup looks like. But I'm gonna garnish it, and then we're gonna have a special taste tester. Okay, so here's my special taste tester. I'm gonna just blow it off and cool it down for you.
I want some.
Try it. What do you think?
Good.
Good? Alright, so that's gonna do it. They liked it, so again, if you guys want to subscribe, that's awesome. And this is it. This is the final product. I'll give you a better view here in a second. Okay everyone, thanks for sticking around today and learning how to make this green chili chicken. This will be helpful for not only people out there looking to have a good recipe for this, but also for my children when they move out and they can use these recipes and follow along. So that's gonna do it for me. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you wanna check out my vlog, I will link it down below, where I post things that are more in depth about my day-to-day life. I try to keep these videos pretty much direct and to the point. I think people appreciate that. But anyways, that's gonna do it for me today. So I hope you enjoy this recipe if you make it, and I'll see you in the next video.